Hello and welcome to the Back Nine Report. Every week, Fred Alvader and I check in on the world of golf and bring you the latest news, insights, and analysis. And Fred, today we have a full show. We're going to be talking about Scottie Scheffler, Maja Stark, and the golf's longest day, the U.S. Open qualifiers. How are you today?
Yeah, three really cool topics tonight, Carlos. Kind of excited about them. I had a chance to be down at the Memorial a little bit last week, and the course was wet and soft, and it was cold early in the week. Finally got nice on the weekend, and Scotty did what he does. He just hangs around, and then closes the deal at the end while everybody else goes backwards. He makes birdies. So, we're going to talk about Scotty a little bit. What makes him great? Really looking forward to it, Carlos.
Me too. I mean, this past weekend at Muirfield Village, Scottie Scheffler, once again, he reminded us why he's the most dominant force in golf right now. And he won the Memorial Tournament hosted by Jack Nicklaus, adding another prestigious title to his growing legacy. So, and let's be real. The Memorial is no ordinary event. It's a signature tournament played on one of the toughest tracks on tour, Muirfield Village. And that is a course that demands total control over your game. If you think you're going to get away with it, you won't. And Scottie came in as a shot as a favorite. No surprise, but what stood out was the way he handled Sunday's pressure, which is what one of the things that to me makes him so
He
good.
doesn't. He doesn't have pressure, Carlos. He doesn't. He doesn't have pressure. The other guys have pressure. He doesn't.
Yeah, it's like everybody was just falling off, and he was just cruising along. I mean, that final round setup was unforgiving. I mean, thick rough, tuck pins, greens that were running like glass. I mean, it was all balls were like running away, except for him. But anyway, the wind then picked up and the scoring became just survival. Let's see the survival of the fittest there. Scottie Scheffler, he didn't go low. I mean, he did post at a final around 74, but that was good enough to win by a single shot or a hair changing field. He now joins an elite group of back-to-back champions at the Memorial. The only other player to successfully defend here, Tiger Woods. And I'm going to talk about something about that real soon. But anyway, Fred, this win marks the second time in just a few weeks that Scheffler has hoisted a trophy because just a few weeks ago he won the 2025 PGA Championship.
His last this month of May was pretty good for Scotty Scheffler. But before I start talking, Scotty, I want to mention Ben Griffin. Boy, is he on a heater or what? I said on Friday that he would not win. I thought maybe he'd finish top five, but which he ended up doing. But he hung in there even better than I thought he would, Carlos. He when he made a mistake, he came right back. He stayed aggressive. He's like a gambler in Vegas who, when you lose, you double up. You double down because you got to get back in the game, and he does. He sticks that long ball, hitting those wedges, and if he hits in bad shape, he's got a good enough short game to get out of trouble. So I'm really kind of impressed with Ben Griffin actually. And my guy, Kyle Morikawa, oh, that was painful to watch. Holy moly. He was in the mix at one time. And man, he went backwards in a hurry. It just came unglued for him. I don't know what happened there. Well, let's talk about Scotty, Carlos. I wrote an article that's in the June issues of Ohio, Indiana, and Michigan Golf Journal that lists the 5 reasons why I feel Scotty Scheffler is dominating golf. Uh, it's in the numbers, Carlos. Number one, it's in the numbers. The last 40 months, Scotty has 19 wins. That's more than Jordan Spieth in his whole career. Okay. He's got 36 top threes, more than Jason Day in his whole career. He's got 52 top tens, more than Max Homa in his career. He's got 3 majors, which is more than Dustin Johnson. Now Dustin's, been over in the LIV and he's gone bye-bye, but still. And here's a big number too. 121 million in earnings, which is more than Phil Mickelson's career. Phil Mickelson's out there for 30 years. Okay. Now he's playing back there when the purses aren't as big as they are today, but still, those are unbelievable numbers. Okay. In 2024, just last year, he won 7 titles. We know this, and the $25 million that go along with the Tour Championship. This year, he leads the Tour in strokes gained tee to green, strokes gained approach, green, and strokes gained total. Plus, he's second in strokes gained off the tee. It's just the numbers prove it. Okay, all you got to do is look at these, and his ability to find fairways with that big fade. That's his secret weapon. You talk about Rory and his long bombs with those big high draws. I'll tell you what, I will take Scottie Scheffler's big high cut any day. He's hitting out there 300 to 315. I'll take that any day in the fairway. So it's just unbelievable. And we know at age 28 years of age, he joins Jack Nicklaus and Tiger Woods, the only players to have won 15 PGA Tour events and at least 3 majors on the age of 30. That's pretty good company to be in. So number two, he works hard to improve every day. He sticks to basics. Um, he practices hard, leans on his caddy, Ted Scott, and longtime coach Randy Smith. During his pre-shot routine, he checks his grip every time to make sure that club face is square with his grip. Just basic stuff, okay? Yeah, he doesn't have the most perfect golf swing. Maybe it wouldn't work for everybody else, but it works for him. He owns it, and it works. Ted Scott. It is not a coincidence that Scheffler's career skyrocketed when Ted Scott left Bubba Watson's bag and picked up Scottie's in 2021. Scott had caddied for Watson in both of his Masters wins and now added 2 more Masters titles plus a PGA Championship with Scheffler. Scott is just not Scheffler's caddy. He's one of the most sought after golf instructors in the country, gives Scheffler a certified golf course coach on the course, somebody that he can listen to, that he trusts. Adding Ted Scott to team, Scheffler saw immediate results. He won 4 events in 2022, 2 more in 23, and then the 7 titles last year. Both Scott and Scottie are deeply religious, family oriented, and mesh together perfectly on as well as off the golf course. Number 4, Carlos, I mentioned him earlier, Coach Randy Smith. Stresses continuous improvement. They don't try to change a lot of stuff. They're not in the latest fad. They're not worried about this. They take their basic structure and just work on improving it, getting it the best they can. Scottie says the best advice he ever received from Smith was very simple: be patient and be himself. If young guys could learn that coming out on tour, they think they got to change something, they got to do something different. They've got a game good enough to get the PGA Tour. Just work on what you got, guys. Don't be changing a lot of stuff. So, number 5, and this might be the most important one. He is really unbelievably grounded. His family and his faith keep him grounded. Starting with his parents, he has a tremendous upbringing. His parents are solid. They gave him a great childhood. He's a devout Catholic, and along with his caddy, they attend Bible study with other players and caddies while on tour. But Carlos, Jack Nicklaus, the vision of Scottie coming off Muirfield, and he grabs the baby because the baby wants to go to him. Got the poop stain on the back, right? And no, but dad's in charge. He's got him, and he doesn't want to leave dad. He's got to distract him so he can go sign his card. It's all about family. It's all about faith with Scottie Scheffler. They come first. The golf ho hum. Well, that's good. I'm playing okay, but Jack Nicklaus may have said it best after Scheffler's most recent win last week at the Memorial. Scottie knows he is the best and doesn't have to do anything different. Just keep finding fairways and greens. Let the other guys make the mistakes, Carlos. That's why Scottie Scheffler is the best golfer right now in the world.
He is, and I have something for you about that. I mean, this is something I've had ever since he won the PGA Championship a few weeks ago. And to me, he has a shot at golf history. Okay? I think he has a shot at not the calendar Grand Slam because he didn't win the Masters, but I think he's going to be able to. We all saw Rory McIlroy do the career Grand Slam with the Masters. I think Scott is going to win his career Grand Slam this year. I don't see him losing the U.S. Open or the Open, and I'm going to go even more there. I think that he's going to do something that has been only done once in history. It's called the Tiger Slam. It's a player that has held all 4 majors at the same time. And that was Tiger Woods in 2002, 2001. And exactly the same thing. Tiger won the 2000 U.S. Open. Then he won the Open and the PGA Championship and the Masters. In this case, for Scottie, he won the PGA Championship because of the change of schedule in May. But then now, I think in a couple of weeks, the U.S. Open. I mean, it's going to be at Oakmont, and I think that it fits his game perfectly for him. I don't think that there's going to be an issue with him trying to win there. Royal Portrush is a classic link setup. His style still, I think that's the difficult one, but still the way that he's playing, I think he can do it. I mean, it's a classic link. The wind and bounce can turn around upside down at any time. And then Augusta, well, with the pressure of history, would make every swing at the 2026 Masters feel like it's being made with 100-pound driver if he's going for that. But you just mentioned it. He has no pressure. And if he actually does it, I mean, how we're gonna call this thing? It's not gonna be the Tiger Slam anymore, out of respect for the man who did it first, right? But I don't know. I just think that he's playing too good right now, and the way that everybody else just and I think we have to start talking about, yeah, he's looking like Tiger-esque because when Tiger was at his prime, and I'm not talking about the prowess of Tiger and how he had that style and how maybe um, his ability. I'm saying results. Scottie is doing the same thing that Tiger did. It's just the same thing, and I just think it's just appropriate to mention. To me, it just looks like that's going to happen.
You mentioned you mentioned the what do you want to call it, the Tiger Slam or whatever you want to call it. Looking ahead, if you remember at Oakmont when they last held the U.S. Open in 2016, Dustin Johnson won there, and I can see today Dustin hitting those big high fades into those fairways. That's exactly what Scottie's doing. If he can hit that, if he can find those fairways at Oakmont, his wedge game and short game is certainly good enough to win the U.S. Open without question. Portrush, I don't know if I'm with you on that one, Carlos. I might argue with you a little bit on that one. But yeah, the rest of the stuff he's got no problem. He could win. He'll win a career Grand Slam the next 3, 4 years, probably easy. And unless injury comes along and stops him, but if he just continues doing what he's doing and doesn't lose interest, it's going to come easy for him, Carlos. I think he's going to win 1 or 2 majors every year for the next 4 or 5 years.
He's definitely, I mean, either way, he has now planted the seed. He's 2 majors away from making golf history, and only a handful of players in history have ever been in this position. And it's just going to be a great story just to watch. But while Scotty has been making history on the men's side, something remarkable for it just happened in the women's game too. The U.S. Women's Open this past weekend gave us a breakout moment and a new star to watch. Apparently, it's Maja
When
Stark.
we did the preview, the U.S. Women's preview show, I didn't remember you saying that you had Maja Shart start to win this thing.
No, she slipped through the cracks there. And I mean, we've talked about her before in regular tournaments, but a major. Wow, this was her first major at a course that played brutally from Thursday to Sunday. She handled the setup like a seasoned veteran, despite being only 24 years old. Uh, I think that final round composure was the difference maker as the others were faltering. She was already a rising talent. She played college at Oklahoma State. She had success on the Ladies European Tour, earned her LPGA card just couple of seasons ago. Her game, I describe it as strong, modern, fearless. I mean, she hits it long, shapes her shots. She's not intimidated by the spotlight as we saw. And the course rewarded, smart, patient golf, and she definitely delivered. And she did it on a leaderboard that at the beginning it wasn't full of big names, but there were big names creeping up, and Nelly Corda was among others in the mix, but it was her Stark who outlasted them all. So, Fred, how about the first major for Maja Stark?
So, yeah, my biggest takeaway, I watched a fair amount of the U.S. Women's Open from Erin Hill because I was familiar with the golf course and I wanted to see what they did. My biggest takeaway is that it's great, it's wonderful that the women are playing on the big courses that the men play on, but Erin Hills was too big. For the average woman golfer, even on the LPGA Tour, Erin Hills was almost unplayable. Nelly Korda hit a beautiful 5-iron, second shot on a par 5, and I can't remember which one it was. Uh, Beautiful shot. At one time, it was like 20 feet from the hole. Okay. The ball continued to run, hit it downslope, runs 30 yards off the green. Okay. That's ridiculous. That should never happen. I don't care. She didn't skull the shot. It's not like she hit it low. It was a for real shot. Okay. It should not be able to hit the middle of the green and run 30 yards off the back of the green. That should never happen. And I'll tell you what, this golf course is really hard. The bunkers are deep, the bunkers are plentiful. There's a lot of undulation in the greens. Every putt has some kind of a break in it. 14 of the 18 holes of greens are uphill, so you're always playing uphill on your second or third shot. There's only 4 downhill shots, and one of those is 9, which is nearly an unplayable par 3. I've played that hole when the wind was coming across at probably about 25 miles an hour left to right. And the two guys I played with hit big high 9-irons in there, and they ended up 20 yards right of the green because the wind took it so bad. So I punched a little hybrid, just punched it into the hill and let it run up there. Got lucky, missed the bunkers. But you have to play this golf course a little bit different. You need more shots in your bag. And not a lot of the ladies have that, Carlos. They're good players, they're great players, but they don't have the strength and some of the shots that men have. And I don't know that I would want to see Black Wolf Run, another a Kohler course there in Wisconsin, just down the road a ways, is a much better golf course for a U.S. Open. They've had you, I think, um, I don't know who had Sayri Pack maybe won there. I can't remember who won there. I think I've had 1 or 2 U.S. Women's Opens there at Kohler. But that was my biggest takeaway. Now, Maja Stark came completely out of nowhere. We didn't talk about her. We didn't have her on the radar. Weren't even thinking about her. This her 2.5 million for winning the U.S. Women's Open boosts her career earnings about doubles to 5 million. So, she's been on tour now for 3 years, only one other win. And this was her 9th U.S. Women's Open. Actually, she's made 6 cuts. So she's a really solid player. She's the first European woman to win the U.S. Women's Open since Annika did back in 2006. Third Swede to win on tour this season, joining Madeline Sagstrom and Ingrid Lund. Boy, the Annika Sorenstam legacy is paying dividends. All these women from Sweden now watched Annika's, if they can do that, I can do this too. So now they're rising to the top. So yeah, great player, really good win for her. I don't know if I expect a lot out of her. I don't expect if she's going to win another major, but boy, she had a week last week, Carlos.
Well, I think again, I don't know if this might be her first major, but if she plays like that, it might not be her last. So we have to just see. She's definitely officially now a player to watch heading into the rest of the LPGA season. And speaking of earning your way in, right, from breakout stars to the grassroots grind, the US Open final qualifiers just wrap up this week. And once again, it delivered incredible stories from every corner of the game. I mean, I call it the game's purest gauntlet. And it's one of the best traditions in golf, often called the golf's longest day. It's where dreams live, heartbreaks hit hard, and no name is too small to make the big time, especially this year. We
Or
could see
missed
something
or missed the big time.
or too big to miss the big time, right? So the format is straightforward. There's 36 holes in one day. They play across multiple sites in the US and abroad. It's open to anyone who meets the handicap criteria for pros, college players, club pros, even top amateurs. This year we saw over 600 players vying for just around 60 spots in the US Open field, and big names like Sergio Garcia, Max Homa, Ricky Fowler,
Sergio Garcia is a big name.
Well, he's still, it's a
I
big
forgot.
name,
I
not a
forgot.
big
I
play
forgot he
name.
even played. I forgot all about him.
Well, they tee it up, and even though they came close, they didn't make it through. On the flip side, we had amateurs, Corn Ferry grads, mini tour players who did earn a place at Oakmont. Guys like Ashton McCullough would now will have a chance of a lifetime. And there's another thing: there's no leaderboard, no big TV coverage, just pure raw competition. That's Fred is what makes it so special.
It really is, Carlos. It's golf's longest day. I try to watch some of it every year. This year it was very entertaining. Of course, with the Memorial being in Columbus, there's always two qualifiers held in Ohio. One in Columbus, one down in Springfield, Ohio, just south of, west of Columbus, about an hour and a half maybe. So it is a big story. There was 10 final qualifiers held on Monday. And so the one that interested me the most, of course, was the one that was in Columbus, and you ended up Max Homa missed a putt. Did you see Max carrying his own bag and just walking, playing 36? What you said,
36
just
holes.
enjoy the day, right?
Yep.
Just out there for a round of golf and keeping score, and it's all good. I love to see Max Homa do that. He raised his esteem in my mind quite a bit there. But he missed a putt on the final hole that would have put him in the field. Instead, it put him in a five-way tie, and they only had one spot for the five guys. So they had a 5-for-1 playoff. And this playoff included Cameron Young, Ricky Fowler, Eric Cole, and Chase Johnson. Three of these guys are tour pros, right? They're good players. So you're out there with the big boys. Well, Cameron Young made a birdie on the first hole, so he wins the playoff. So he gets a spot. And Max misses out. Ricky misses out. Eric Cole misses out. Um, Other notables to miss out in Columbus: Patrick Harrington, Chez Reavie, Alex Noren, and Jake Knapp. So some really good players in that field on Monday. Down the road in Springfield, Ohio, there was four spots were open. Grant Hefner, George Duongmani, Max Moldham, an Ohio State guy, and Zach Blair, who I've talked to before. He's out of Utah. He used to play on the tour quite a bit. I haven't seen him much lately. Left-hander. Missing the cut there in Springfield, Kurt Kitayama, good player. Brant Snedeker, who played well at the Memorial last week. In New Jersey, you had four guys coming out of there. But the big story is the guys that didn't. You had Stuart Hagestad, who was like perennially the mid-am champ, and Michael Thorbjornsen missed out. In the University of Duke golf course, you had 7 spots that came in. Nobody of note that won. Missing the cut, missing getting into the tournament. The super sensation amateur Miles Russell. What is he? 16, 17 years old, something like that. Missed by a single shot. Former U.S. Open champ Webb Simpson missed out, and Alex Smalley, who's had some flashes of brilliance. In Wellington, Florida, they had a weather delay that caused some delays. Luke Poulter, Ian Poulter's son, just missed out. Blades Brown, Sam Ryder, Nikolai Hogsgaard, and Graham McDowell, former U.S. Open champion, missed out. We've got in Ontario, you've got 7 guys that got in. Matt Wallace was one of those, a guy we've seen from the European Tour quite a bit. Emiliano Grillo, Victor Perez, Mark Hubbard, and Thorbjorn Olesen all made. Thorbjorn made a 60-foot putt to get in at the last hole. Harry Hall and Keith Mitchell did not get in Ontario. In Atlanta, you had Zach Johnson missing, and then a 55-year-old KJ Choi. What is KJ Choi doing out there trying to get in the U.S. Open at 55 years old? Give me a break. But most notably, the top college kids, Jackson Coyvin, grabbed one of the spots from Atlanta, so he'll be in the U.S. Open. And then in Valencia, California, you got Preston Summerhays, Riley Lewis, Zachary Pollo, and Joey Herrera made it through. No notables, missing a cut there. Walla Walla, Washington, you got a unique story. You're going to hear about it ad nauseum. Matt Vaught, who's a dentist out of Indianapolis, won. He was a medalist, so he's in. But missing out, Oh no, then in Rockville, Maryland, that was the last one. Um, you've got Mark Leishman. Remember Mark Leishman, the Aussie? He
Mhm.
made it through. But missing was Sebastian Munoz, Peter Uline. What happened to Peter Uline? He used to be a pretty good player. Jason Kokrak, Stuart Sink, they all missed. So, Carlos, golf's longest day. There's a lot of intriguing stories that will be coming out. If you want to get more information, go to usga.org. They've got all the storylines, everything there that you're going to want to hear, stuff you're going to want to know for next week. Oakmont, unbelievable golf course. Can't wait to see the U.S. Open next week, Carlos.
Well, I got a question that why are you so interested in this? Why does it matter? Well, I had to answer, in a sport full of exclusivity, exemption sport invites, closed door fields, the US Open still lives up to its name. You want it, you have to earn it. Okay. There's the spirit of it all. You get the drama, heartbreak, like you were just a five-player playoff for just one spot. Three already pros trying to prove themselves to go to the US Open. Okay, they're Cinderella stories. None of it.
They're not getting paid to do this, Carlos.
No,
This
they
they
have
want
to.
this.
Yeah, Max Homa, those 36 holes, grabbing his whole bag. My gosh. I mean, none of it is televised, also. It's just pure golf. And when this guy shows up at Oakmont, they've earned that walk with the greats. It's to me, to wrap up, is golf in its purest forms where dreamers become contenders. And that's what really makes the US Open unlike any other major. So, Fred, any final words before we close?
Nope, just can't wait. Really surprised about Maja Stark still. And Scottie Scheffler, just by the numbers, by any stretch, any criteria you want to use to measure him, he is by far and away the best. Rory, pretty good, but not as good as Scottie Scheffler.
That at least by the numbers right now, Scotty's the man. So that's it for today's episode of the Backman Report. We cover Scotty Scheffler's dominance and he's chasing a slam. Now I'll make sure to keep doing that. Maja Stark is making her mark, and the U.S. Open continues to show why it's the most democratic major in golf. Make sure to subscribe, give us a like, leave us a review, follow us on social media. We'll be back soon with more histories and from the fairways and greens. So until next time, keep it in the short grass.